Hello, I'm Toycat, and my favourite dumb geography fact used to be that Denmark and Canada had a border dispute. That's right, Denmark all the way over here and Canada all the way over here technically had a border dispute because Denmark owns Greenland and Greenland and Canada are very close by, and it just so happens there's an island which is almost halfway between them. This is one of the funniest border disputes in the world. It's one of the friendliest too, because all they do is they plant their flag, they put a bottle of whiskey or brandy, and they'd say, "This is our islands, buddy, you better back off." And that's all they did for literally 50 years. You can fact check that if you want, but since 1980, they've just been going back and forth, having fun little expeditions, claiming the island as their own. However, ever since 2005, they've been trying to resolve the issue, and as of yesterday, they officially have done it. Canada and Denmark have reached a deal to divide uninhabited Arctic island. This is being reported by CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and it's basically it's a brand new deal that happened as of 6 p.m. Eastern time. Wow, that's an hour ago. The deal has been reached as of them and officially revealed as to what is happening. They have decided to end the 50-year-long international dispute between the two countries, and as it's explained by a Copenhagen journalist, Martin Brum, it is not exactly a 50-50 share, but they are sharing the island in two halves. One will be Canadian, the other part will be a part of Greenland, which is in the Danish kingdom. So, technically speaking, Greenland is its own country, but it's a country within the Kingdom of Denmark, and the Kingdom of Denmark is a country. Do you think a country within a country is fully sovereign, or do you think it's like a polite thing we say? If you think the latter, as the UN and most other places do, then Canada and Denmark are officially going to be sharing a border, although, for what it's worth, they're not sharing it 50-50, although it's, they've got two halves. The Greenland part will be slightly bigger than the Canadian. That was the thing I was looking for, and so now we will know, looking at this island on a map, this is technically outdated right now, this island is going to be split 50-50 between Canada and Denmark, and they will officially, therefore, because they're splitting an island, that means there'll be a land border, and so therefore, Canada and Denmark will officially border each other, which is pretty crazy, because both countries right now border one other country, and they're both actually pretty major powers. Canada has the world's longest border with the United States, and Denmark has a pretty short border with Germany, but again, you're in Europe, you got a border with Germany, you know when things get bad, you got to be worried, and so, maybe the same with the US if things get too bad, and so in both cases, now they've got this friendly club of like, yay, we border a major power that could destroy us if they just get a little bit bored one day, and they will have this lovely little island border way up here in the Arctic. There is, technically speaking, on a technical level, this is going to be a border. In actual reality, I don't imagine either side will really police it, because, I mean, if you wanted to go from Denmark to Canada, you would take a flight first of all, but if you wanted to go from Denmark to Canada, and you wanted to somehow do it really illegally, you wouldn't go to the Canadian north where no one even really chooses to live, and so whatever, this is a whole thing. However, there are a few asterisks on this, because I've seen, there's a lot of reporting saying technically now they have a border, and so Denmark, you might say that Google Maps is inaccurate, but technically speaking, they don't have the border yet. They're going to, most likely, but allow me to explain more of this article, because it does say that both governments say it's a fabulous deal. It took a really long time to resolve such a short issue, and it did. I mean, come on. Canada and Denmark, if you were going to come to this conclusion, couldn't you have done it in less than this many years? But, basically, they've decided that they're going to smooth things over, and the only catch here is that in 2018 they set up their task force, and the agreement was agreed, and actually, let me just show you this UV. So the agreement was agreed and shared as of June 11th, and then on June the 14th, that is when officially the report came out. So I guess that was today, although maybe this is wrong. But either way, on June the 14th, that's when the report came out. However, technically speaking, the treaty has to be approved by all the parliaments involved. So Canada and Denmark are both countries. You might not know that, but that's why you come to this second channel geography for those fun facts. Denmark is in fact a country. Canada is in fact a country, and they're both democracies. I know. You might be thinking, wait, I thought Denmark was a dictatorship. I mean, it's all that makes sense. They're a monarchy, but no, they're a constitutional monarchy. So there's a parliament over there that has to approve it. There's a parliament over there that has to approve it. And they've both decided, because Greenland's a semi-autonomous part of, Denmark, mostly autonomous at this point, and Nunavut is a territory of Canada, but they try to give as many rights as they can to the indigenous people because, I don't know, did something bad happen to them in the past? I'm sure it didn't. Let me know in the comments, though. Give me like a 12-paragraph explanation if you think anything bad happened in the north of Canada to the natives. I'm sure nothing did. Anyway, so Nunavut has its own parliament which it has to go through, and so Greenland's parliament, Nunavut's parliament, Canada's parliament, and Denmark's parliaments all have to agree, and so Google Maps won't update until that's true, because until everyone involved has agreed, it's not really a border. It's still arguably in dispute. It's just the major powers involved, the people who would gain the most from claiming the island because they want the minerals or the oil, or honestly, they just want a tiny bit more land. Both countries, technically speaking, in their own eyes, got a little bit smaller because both countries claimed this tiny little mile landmass, and so both countries gave up half of their land to the other country. Obviously, that's kind of silly. But yeah, basically, it's kind of interesting to me that Global Affairs Canada said, due to a media embargo in place till tomorrow's event. Oh, the event hasn't happened yet. That's crazy. This is a leak. We are learning about today's, as you see this news right now. Isn't that crazy? Also, Russia's got some fun things going on in the area. And also, here's the kind of thing, right? The novelty about this all, they say it might become a tourist destination. If it did, they'd have to enforce this. In reality, saying they're going to split this island changes nothing. The only reason they go there is to do their dumb flag planting exercise. If this island was solidly in one of the countries or the other, it would have been visited by humans maybe 3 times ever. But maybe the novelty of Canada and Denmark sharing a border will bring something to the Greenlandic North. I don't think so, though, because if you look at the population of Greenland and you see that, off that tiny population, smaller than like a town, you know, like a pretty small town too, but like a small population across this entire almost continent-sized landmass, a lot of that lives in the capital. The ones that don't live mostly in the cities or around them in the south of this, there's just like nothing over here. Like seriously, the closest settlement we can find is going to be like Kanak, which is actually pretty decent as far as like Greenlandic settlements go. But you got the Kanak supermarket. Oh, it's like a real whole thing. Great store, fish is great here. They even had foreign items like Doritos. Do you think that's real, actually? I thought that was going to be a joke based on that. Anyway, there's also a hotel and, you know, all the things you want when you go into Kanak. And, yeah, that's all you get all the way down here. Just to clarify, this is a very tiny, tiny town about 376 kilometers. That's 232 miles. If you were on a highway, you could drive 232 miles in about 4 hours. But that highway would go over the ocean. And also, there are no highways. There's no flights. You could maybe get a boat. How fast can a boat do 232 miles or 300 kilometers? The answer is it can't. The answer is even getting out here, right? How are you going to do it? You're not going to do it. And so will anyone actually visit the islands? No. Is this really a border? You know, it's that thing about the forest and the woods, isn't it? Like, if the tree falls, no one's around to hear it. Like, you know, does the bear poke? You know how it all goes. Anyway, so with that said, I figured before we leave this, because I think this is fascinating news that Canada and Denmark are going to border each other. My initial thought was like, so where else could this happen? There are so many border disputes around the world we assume aren't going to be settled. But, like, you know, what if all of them came to be? I mean, for instance, what if, with some of the weird sandbanks around here, what if the United States decided to split the island with Jamaica? The US and Jamaica could have a land border, but the most likely one, and this is a real stretch, but allow me to hear me out here, on countries which currently only border one country each, but could, or like new borders that could be created by splitting a disputed land. Okay, so the UK borders one country, I mean, mainland UK. Great Britain and Northern Ireland borders one country, and Ireland borders one country too. This is this border over here. However, if Northern Ireland were to leave the UK, or we'll just say it's more likely for now that Scotland goes independent, they're always talking about it, I hear. You know, and that's how independence happens. You just talk about it enough, and then it just happens. Everyone knows. If you want things badly enough, they just kind of come into being. Kind of unironically true. Anyway, so here is Rockall. It is a piece of land which is over here, and so it's a part of the UK because the UK said it is. Even though it's arguably closer to Ireland, there's a whole debate about whether it's the UK's or whether it's Ireland, and so there's a little bit of a dispute. In reality, they draw up their entire EEZs as if it's not, but for what it's worth, Irish fishing boats do come over here. Sometimes Ireland sends over they send their maritime security patrols over, exercising their sovereignty. Ireland hasn't fully settled this. They've just agreed not to be dicks about it. So Ireland and the UK have a disagreement about a tiny, not even real island. Like if you look at Rockall, it's just a bunch of birds and poop, and honestly, how do they even get there in the first place if it's so far from land? I don't know. But hear me out here, because this is disputed between the UK and Ireland right now, but really it's disputed by, if you were to take the UK as individual nations, it would be Scotland's land, which is going out there. If Scotland were to go independent, then Scotland would border one country, which is the UK, and the UK would border, and Ireland would border one country, which is also the UK. But if they agreed to split Rockall down the middle, can you even search Rockall on the map? There you go. If they agreed to split Rockall down the middle, then they would too share a border. And is that the dumbest thing you've heard today? Yes, it is. But that's why you come to the IBX2Cat YouTube channel. Thank you very much for making your way over here. As you might have known from the last video, I got the merch now. I got the mugs that remind you we're all gonna die someday, which is the only merch anyone needs. It's really, the green screen kind of fades it out. You know what, should we just lower the green screen? You know, you don't need to see what's behind the green screen. What you do need to see, though, is you can buy it at ibxtoycat.store, or would you like to give me money but with nothing in return? Then you can go to patreon.com/toycat, where I will use the money for questionable purchases. You better believe it. You better believe it. And, I want to go to Canuck. Honestly, I would love to go to Greenland. I need to have, like, more disposable dumb income, though. Oh, also, I've got a funeral I've got to attend today, so I'm gonna go leave this video, gonna go to bed, and then maybe go get on a train, or maybe I won't. Honestly, I'll work it out tomorrow. But what you can work out tomorrow is why Denmark and Canada took 20 years to decide, why don't we just split it? I can do that with any disputes. You have an issue with your girlfriend. What is the issue? You split it down the middle. Problem solved. Anyway, goodbye. That can be bad advice. I mean, if it's like a baby. Honestly, so, the whole riddle of like, oh yeah, well, if you split things down the middle, it doesn't go well, because what about a child? If two people are fighting over a child and you split the child down the middle, oh no, it's gone, problem is solved. You're both happier, and I'm just saying, split all the problems down the middle. That's my solution to the Scottish independence issue. Let's just cut it in half. East Scotland can go independent, West Scotland can stay a part of the UK, and anyone who wants to go from the independent one to the non-independent one and vice versa just goes over the independence line. You know what, should we just make this a long video of Toycat solves every crisis around the world? That'd be a good video, right? Take every territorial dispute and take a hard stance one way or the other. Okay, no, I've got real things to do. Goodbye.